film fans? We're the Merco Movie Guys. I'm Clint Schaffer, and this is my buddy Chad Weeks.
And we're a couple guys who like movies and like to talk about movies. Clint, what are we going to talk about tonight?
Chad, there was a big announcement. I don't know, maybe the beginning part of this week or last week
like
here, but we're going to talk about Avengers Doomsday.
Not just an announcement; it was a 6-hour announcement. I don't know if you watched it, but like the Twitter post popped up, and the first one I saw, it's like Chris Hemsworth in this. I'm like, oh, they're announcing who's going to be in this, and then I'm like, I'm just going to screen record all of them and then post them to our Facebook page, you know, and then I noticed that a new one came out every like 7 to 15 minutes. So I waited all day, and it's like, okay, let's see. After 15 minutes, is it done? Are we able to go on to the next one? And I can record these? No, it went on for 6 hours.
Well, I don't know if you've seen how they did it, but I mean, they literally had a pile of people and they were drafting them.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
That's what it sounds like, though, is an NFL draft.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm like, what? No,
it's like every 10 minutes you get a new person. You know,
touche.
I think they should start doing that, though. You know, like you could just have like the director up there, and he just has a whole list of people, and they're all standing there, and he just starts drafting them.
Have two different movies.
Watch it in real time.
Have two different movies and two different directors saying, "All right, I got Robert Downey Jr." Next guy's like, "I take Chris Evans." You know. See who's drafted last.
I think that'd be an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, love it.
So actually, I mean, going all joking aside here, this is quite the cast. I mean, this has to be largest cast since Endgame?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is. I mean, yeah. My question is like, were you surprised by it? Because I felt like there were some glaring omissions, and some that it's like, oh, we're gonna get Patrick Stewart, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, so there were some that Rebecca Romaine is in there. So some of them I felt like it was real. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was shocked at the original X-Men cast.
Yeah,
that are in here. Which I found that to be interesting. I figured they'd probably lean on the first class, right? But it really sounds like they're really tossing this back. Which man, we're Ian McKellen. I don't know what his age is, but man, he's getting up there too.
Yeah, I have no clue, but yeah, he's getting up there for sure. Also, so you've got those guys. So why didn't you see Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds then? You know what I mean? Like, so he's the most recent addition to the X-Men franchise that's been in the MCU. He's the one that brought it in, but he wasn't announced. So you've got,
but there's no way in a movie like this they would make a pre-announcement with Deadpool and Wolverine.
So, and that's what, so
like,
yeah,
they're going to be in it. They're going to have to be in
it.
Right. You've seen Gambit's in it.
Exactly. Yeah, so exactly. Gambit is in it.
Yeah, you're
James
already
Marsden.
linking these movies.
Yeah.
If you don't think that Wolverine and Deadpool are going to make an entrance in this,
and that was
they're just not. I don't think they're going to be the main character in this, but they're definitely going to be. We're going to see some fourth wall breakage at some point.
Yeah, and there was a little. Maybe this is the scene from Wolverine and Deadpool that he kept talking about. Thor crying. I mean, Thor was the first one they mentioned. So he's probably going to be the main character. You know, like I'm not saying he's going to be the main character, but he's got to be pretty high up there, right? And they kept going back to, why is Thor crying about me? You know, like in the Wolverine and Deadpool. So yeah, I guess he's got to be. And to build off of that, I noticed that there was a Twitter exchange that said, we're not done. This is just the start. So apparently they're going to add more people in there too. And yeah, you're right. Why would they announce? Well, they could, because they already mentioned it. They already talked about it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's going to be some of this that you're still going to have, like, you still have to have opportunities for you to get spoiled by going on Facebook like an hour before you go watch a film.
Yeah, no, for this one,
and so they're going to have to hold some things back.
No, for this one, as soon as this, because that's a problem. It was because it was released in like China first, or somewhere over, and they spoiled it for me the day. So no, as soon as it's released anywhere. Shutting off social media. That's it.
You're going radio silent.
I'm going dark.
Right?
Yeah.
Going dark.
Yes, nothing. I'm not answering any phone calls either. So if you call me, just don't expect an answer. Text messages, nothing. Write me a letter.
There you go. You heard it here. I mean, it's just mainly carrier pigeons. That's the only way that you're getting a chat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right.
All right. Well, let's jump into the cast that they did announce. Do you find a little bit of has Marvel used Doomsday before? Because I find that kind of funny because Doomsday I always link back to DC.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
and so I was just kind of curious if like have they had this in the comics before?
Oh, I don't know
if
I mean, it's Doctor Doom is the basis of it, So I don't know if they've I don't know if any of the
I get that.
I don't know if any of the story arcs have been called Doomsday. I'm sure they have, but I can't think of them right now. But no, I don't know that there has been. But yeah, you would go back to Doomsday from Superman because you were big into that one.
But yeah, I have like the whole like series of Superman, getting killed by Doomsday.
Yeah, absolutely.
The death of Superman, right?
Yeah.
So, but no, that's where I found that just kind of interesting, as that's the title to this. But so let's talk about the list. So I'll rattle a couple of them off here. You already mentioned Chris Hemsworth as coming back as Thor. Here before too long, he's going to have to be like the longest running Marvel superhero.
Well,
right?
yeah, I mean, yes and no, because they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr., who started it all. So does he count? Yeah. I don't know if that counts or not.
I don't know. Like that, I'm kind of torn on that one.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. All right. So you mentioned Chris Hemsworth. I want to bring this up because I just noticed it because I pulled up IMDb to have a list of some of the characters here, and it the top cast. So the top cast, and I noticed that like Chris Hemsworth was on that first image that we got, and he was like the first one they announced. So it's like it lets you think that he's going to be like a star of the show, and whether that's, but IMDb has listed as a top cast. They only have 4 characters. Would you like to take a guess at who those 4 characters are that they have on IMDb? Top cast.
I'm going to say Chris Hemsworth.
Do you have it pulled up in front of you, or are you guessing?
Anthony Mackie as Captain America. I'm going to guess Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm and Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. No,
that's not what I have. But I'm assuming you're going off a list too.
That's on the top line of Deadline that I'm looking at right now.
So here's what they have. So on the list on IMDb, they have 4 people listed as top cast, and then it has all cast. And yes, Anthony Mackie starts off all cast along with Sebastian Stan. But the top 4 that they have, which I think is really interesting, is Robert Downey Jr., who's playing Victor Von Doom, Pedro Pascal, who's playing Reed Richards, Chris Hemsworth, who's playing Thor, and Vanessa Kirby, who's playing Sue Storm. So to me, it makes me think that this is a Fantastic Four start off. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, I could see it. I can see this kind of playing out this way, where you've got Doctor Doom shows up in like our MCU, and then you've got Sue Storm and Reed Richards show up to like chase him down, across a different timeline or whatever you want to call it, and a different universe, and say, "Hey, Thor, see, you just got your butt kicked by Doctor Doom. How can we help?" Is it like does that play out? Like that's what it seems like. If those are the top 4, that could be totally fugazi too. Like I mean nothing.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely going to have to be crossing universes, right? And I think the interesting part to me is how does Doctor Doom get to this universe?
Yeah, correct.
Right, and I think that's going to be interesting, right? Because you could play this off a number of ways. Like you could be like, either A, created his own quantum time machine, right? Or like, did he find a way through during Endgame or something, or is the TVA?
I was gonna say that would be
involved in this. Like
that would be my guess.
Like
I could see Loki because he's like the king of the TVA now, right?
Loki's in this.
Yeah.
I mean Loki, like is the TVA,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, he's pretty much the center of all that if you play off of the Loki series. So, and he is in this.
Yep.
Right. Tom Hiddleston is named as a cast in this. So I would assume that's where we're gonna have to go.
Yeah.
But
I could see a situation where Loki is looking into Doctor Doom's universe with the Fantastic Four, and all of a sudden Doctor Doom is looking back somehow. You know what I mean? Like he sees this opportunity, and because he's a genius too. So
Doctor Doom is like one of the smartest characters in the Marvel universe, right?
Yeah, he is. Probably
isn't he like top 5 for intellect?
Oh, I'm going to be real. That's going to be a real bold statement, but I'm going to say top 5 is fair because Reed Richards has got to be number 1, right? And then you've got
I would assume.
Reed Richards number 1, and then I don't know. Does a leader go into that category? Because I don't know. I don't know what the next 2 or 3 would be, but he's got to be in the top 5. Got to be in the top 5.
Yeah, I would sure think so.
Yeah, the guys in my comic book group would eat me up in this conversation.
Well, here I'm going to throw out a couple thoughts here. So let's talk about a few of the other cast here. So we've talked about some returning folks, right? With Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, and honestly, like Bucky Barnes used to annoy the absolute heck out of me, but I've enjoyed it. Like I've enjoyed his storyline since, so I'm hopeful that that we'll see a really cool aspect of Bucky Barnes here. But the one that jumps out is Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, and that's the one that like I really just wanted John Krasinski. Like that's who I wanted.
Yeah,
like,
everybody did.
Like you already set it up, and Pedro Pascal has already been in like DC and everything else here. Like, man, give me John, man.
Yeah,
I was upset.
I agree, but also in the same sense, like when has Pedro Pascal ever disappointed you? If he's doing it, it's going to be the best version of it, and then a year from now, after we've watched it, we're going to say, man, that was the best decision ever. I'm glad they didn't go with John Krasinski. And just because
I mean that's a great thing to say. Like, when has he ever disappointed me after I just mentioned he was in DC? I mean, Wonder Woman 2 would probably be a very good example.
He didn't disappoint. He didn't disappoint. Neither did Kristen Wiig. That whole movie was disappointing, and I don't know that was a mess. But he was good.
You walked into that one.
Yes, I know. I thought about it afterwards because I tried to go role play or roll through those roles, and that was the first one that I thought of too. But no, he'll be fine.
There's going to be a Fantastic Four movie before this, though, right?
Correct. It comes out in July, I think.
Yeah.
So, well, let's talk about that. Before we get too much further into this, let's talk about what we have coming up, because we've got, like, right now we're on the Daredevil series. Have you watched any of that?
Yeah. No, I haven't watched anything new. No, I've watched all the old stuff.
No, I'm talking about the Born Again series, which were like 6 episodes.
I have not.
Okay.
No.
So I've watched 3 episodes, and it's incredible, and it is every bit as good as the old one, it's the same cast, so it's
original cast, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's got Charlie Cox and John Bernthal and whoever plays Happy Hogan.
Oh, the Punisher's on it?
At least a little bit. I don't know how much, but he's in it. Yes. Bullseye is in it. The White Tiger is in it. But yeah, it's really, really, really good. Really, really good.
Is it technically in this universe then? In the main universe?
So
I would assume.
I think so, because like in the old one they talked about New York City, or like the Battle of New York. Oh yeah, it's got to be, because so here's the thing, Clint. Like the slightest little bit of a spoiler here, but in like episode 2, Vincent D'Onofrio, Private Pile from Full Metal Jacket, he's Kingpin. He's playing Kingpin, right? Wilson Fisk, and at one point he talks about cracking down on vigilantes, and he mentions the Punisher, and he mentions Daredevil, and he mentions White Tiger, and then he mentions somebody swinging around town dressed as a spider, and it's like so yeah, it's clearly, but they haven't been, at least as far as I've gotten in it, they haven't been blatant about any of it. But yes,
yeah,
he is definitely in this universe.
Well, and
go ahead.
No. I was just like, I think that's going to be a telltale sign. Then, I mean, if we got, sorry, I'm jumping ahead, but with you said the Fantastic Four coming out this summer. I mean, we should know in a pretty short amount of time where they're located at, right?
Correct. Yeah, exactly. And everything looks like this from the 60s is where they're at. New York City in the 1960s. But it's also like a alternate universe, it looks like, because it's kind of futuristic. But the other one that you have to figure that we have before that is Thunderbolts. So Thunderbolts comes out in May.
Oh, yeah. That looks awesome.
It looks really good. And so, and to me, that's interesting too, because half the cast from Thunderbolts is in there, but not the other half. So you have Sebastian Stan, and you have Ghost, and you have Red Guardian.
Yep.
Is that it from there?
Black Widow.
Yep. Yeah. Florence Pugh. Thank God. Can't get enough of her.
Yep.
John Walker's in it, isn't he? U.S. agent. I can't think of his name. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a son.
Yeah. He is.
What's his name?
Yep. I'm trying to look.
Yeah, he's the son of not Mel Gibson. Kurt Russell. Patrick Stewart. I read Patrick Stewart and went right for it. Wyatt Russell.
There we go.
Yeah. So anyway, so half of them are in it, but then the other half isn't. So there's some glaring omissions there too, like Taskmaster isn't in it. There's somebody else in there that I don't think is, but there hasn't been announced anyway yet. So, but yeah, we've got Thunderbolts coming up. We've got the Ironheart series. Riri Williams is in it, right? Wasn't she one of the names that was mentioned?
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
I thought she was in there.
If that's the case.
And Shuri, Letitia Wright.
Shuri's coming back as Black Panther.
Yeah. So do we get Riri Williams, Ironheart? That's the other one. They're getting Sentry, the new Sentry from this one.
Yep.
Shang-Chi. Yeah, I don't see her in there. So that's odd. That's an odd choice.
I did not see her announced.
Okay.
So
and then like I said, and then you get the Fantastic Four.
I am excited to get so let's talk about a couple folks that I'm really excited that is coming back in Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah.
So one character that I have been like begging for more, right? Which is M'Baku.
Yeah.
And I seen M'Baku coming back in this. And I absolutely like love that character.
So do I.
I want to see them continue to build on him. And I want to see him as like, he's gonna own some folks.
Yeah. I still don't think that he's gonna be
he's just gonna go just go tear some folks up.
Yeah.
I
still don't think that he's going to be as big of a power as you want him to be, but I think that, he'll have a role, but like, I think that his biggest role was in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. He played like more of a very, like one of the coolest roles. He really helped make that film.
I would love to see him as Black Panther sometime. And I know that's not what Black Panther is, like that big of a dude, but man, he would just be freaking awesome.
Yeah, he would be cool.
That guy's just
he is.
Winston Duke.
Yeah,
that's his name.
Yep. When they insulted him in Wakanda Forever, and he goes into that making that ape noise, and then his whole group does ooh ooh. It was so cool. Yeah. And I'm like, he's awesome. Yeah. And I like his politics too, because he's like close to being a bad guy, but he's not. He's like, no, I'm just not going to do what you tell me to just because you tell me to. Let's challenge on this, and I love it.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like he's like I feel like he's always going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
He's just going to do it when he wants to.
Yeah,
do
exactly.
it. And you're not going to tell him when to do
correct.
it. You
And
know,
he's
I don't know.
he's gonna push the envelope a little bit. I
He's
love
just
him.
one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I want to see him. I want to see more of him. I am interested to see. I've seen Namor is coming back as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And that's going to be. He's an interesting one here because is he on Doctor Doom's side?
I don't
like. Is he a good guy? Where's he lining up at here?
I expect him to be a bit of anti-hero style again. In the comics, he has a thing for. I mean, he's got a ton of ties with Fantastic Four. So, and one of them is Sue Storm. Like he's like in love with Sue Storm. So, and I don't know how far that goes or anything like that. I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan, but I think that he could come in the Fantastic Four movie and then be brought back as maybe an anti-hero in that situation. I don't know. You never know, but yeah, it will be interesting to see him. He's a huge question mark.
So yeah, I'm just kind of interested to see how he plays into this. So one of the other ones I was gonna end up asking about. So Sentry, I don't know a whole lot about Sentry. So tell me a little bit about that character.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about Sentry either. He's a relatively new character. I would say like 2005, maybe. Don't quote me on that, but I would say roughly there. But yeah, he's a picture Superman. I mean, that's basically what he is. He's that type of guy, that Omega level type of hero. So, and I think he plays a little bit of the anti-hero role as well. I don't know too many series that I've seen him in. He's more of a. I mean, he's got his own series that ran for a while. But yeah, I don't know a ton about Sentry. Just picture him as the Superman who's probably going to be the bad guy, but they may team up at some point, and you know how all that goes.
So he's going to be in Thunderbolts, so too.
Yep,
right?
Thunderbolts is where he'll be.
So we'll get a little bit of feel of him. Is Ghost in Thunderbolts as well?
Yep.
Because that's another one. Like she's kind of a villain-esque.
Yeah, she was a villain in
Ant-Man,
right? Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it would they made a big deal out of her, and they've been saying that she's going to come back, and then you just haven't seen anything from her since Ant-Man and the Wasp, and now I don't know. I feel like this is like the version of Suicide Squad, so maybe that's why some of these characters aren't in here. We could see some death, and I do think that Avengers Doomsday is going to see some permanent death from characters. Like we're going to lose characters, big time. No blip.
Yeah,
I mean they're not coming back.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. So
we need to have stakes.
All right. So we have talked about a lot of folks here, but let's go back through here. We're going to end up with Core. We're going to end up with Thor, Captain America, Sue Storm, Yelena.
Yeah.
Or the Black Widow, right?
Yep.
Shang-Chi, Bucky Barnes,
Shang-Chi,
Namor, Shang-Chi.
Yep.
Shang-Chi, sorry.
Yeah. I only know
Black
that
Panther,
because Simu Leo, and I probably butchered his name, posted it on his Twitter. While we're talking about this is how you pronounce my name. And it's like, okay, I'm going to remember that, man. Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Shang-Chi.
Yep.
There you go. All right. So then we got The Thing.
Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer as the Beast.
Yeah, that's another one.
Back.
They could have gone so many different routes with that one, and they went with Kelsey Grammer.
We talked about Sentry, the Falcon. So did the Falcon? I haven't seen Captain America yet. So did the Falcon come in Captain America? I take it.
Well,
Danny Ramirez.
Yeah, but he was in the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, or Falcon and Winter Soldier series. Remember at the end? So in that series, the Falcon, which was Anthony Mackie at the time, took over the helm of Captain America, and when he did that, he was talking about his old flight suit, and he's that Manny, is it Manny Ramirez?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Danny
Ramirez. And he's like, yeah, can I? He's like, so you're not using that anymore? Maybe I can, or something to that effect, Which
that's right.
Yeah, I don't want to give me spoilers for Captain America because it's too soon. So,
Yeah, no, I still need to get caught up on that piece. But we also have Johnny Storm, played by Joseph Quinn.
It's gonna be tough to beat Chris Evans, Johnny Storm. I'll tell you that right now.
It is.
I love that role for him.
It is funny that they like had Chris Evans play Johnny Storm this close to like them coming out with this, but I think that's still like a cool little like, nod end of an era here. But then you got Red Guardian, M'Baku, Ghost, Loki, and then and we mentioned the Beast here, but I do want to have a quick conversation around the Beast, Professor X, Magneto, Nightcrawler, Mystique.
Hold on,
Cyclops.
Oh yeah, it's Ian McKellen. Is Ian McKellen is right? Yeah. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. So the reason why I rattled all them off without putting the actors in there is they are all a part of the original crew.
Yes.
Right. So you have Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Ian McKellen as Magneto, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romaine as Mystique, James Marsden as Cyclops, and then of course Kelsey Grammer as the Beast.
Yep. So it is literally like the original cast minus Halle Berry and Hannah Paquin. I don't know if there are any. Oh,
and Phoenix.
Famke Janssen. I can't think of it.
Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah, Hugh Jackman. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, but that's really interesting, right? Because it's I think we've gotten so used to seeing the X-Men First Class and that whole crew, right? And so for them to bring back these OG X-Men are going to be pretty interesting. Again, you got Ian McKellen who's coming in at 85, right? Rocking Magneto, which I love Ian McKellen as Magneto. So
he's perfect.
I'm all about it. I'm just I love that he's coming back into that role, but it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays together. The other thing that I would ask is the Fantastic Four and X-Men, are they in that universe together?
What do you mean? Oh,
like, is that the same? Like, can Fantastic Four and the original X-Men be in the same universe?
I sure don't think so, but maybe. I think that Fox universe, if they're now, it just doesn't make any sense for the vibes. Like especially if you figure that, like, because I think that again, Fantastic Four is going to be taking place in like the 60s. At least that's what I think. But it's like a futuristic style of the 60s. Kind of like that Fallout. You know what I mean? Where everything was like time stamped in that era, but they still have technology from 20 years from now. So, and I feel like that X-Men series was very rooted in the 90s, early 2000s type of thing. And I just feel like we would have been maybe, but I just can't see it. I can't see the vibes.
I was just trying to think, like, have they been linked into, like, so we've had a couple different Fantastic Fours, right? So have they linked any of these together? Has the X-Men been included in anybody else's universe throughout Fox?
No, not other than the MCU, because the Fantastic Four is a Sony production, so they would be
right
in line with like Spider-Man, if nothing else. So, I don't know. I just can't imagine. I don't think that they've ever tied in, and I don't think that they can until this incursion or whatever.
Will this Fantastic Four won't be Sony, will it? Or would this still be Sony?
That's a great question. I don't think so, because I think Disney has it all now, right?
Man, I hope so.
Yeah. Now that you got me, I'm looking it up now, pulling it up on IMDb.
I mean, Disney owns Fox, right? So I mean, they should.
Yeah, but this is Sony again.
Sony.
Yeah. Let's see. It is. Pulling it up, but I'm not seeing details, release country, filming locations. Just give me who the distribution company is, or whatever you want to call it. On the picture, it has Prepare for launch. It has nothing. Marvel Studios is all it has. So it's got to be just
well, so maybe it's just Marvel.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I want all of this to land, right? I mean, I think between, Sony, Fox, Marvel, I think we've seen, Marvel has probably pushed out the most consistent, great material, and I'm happy to see them continue to keep pushing forward here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's time that we got the first family of Marvel and did them justice. I don't have anything bad to say. I mean, not anything terrible to say about the original Fantastic Four, or what we call the original Fantastic Four. But I just want it done right, and I want them to be interesting. You know what I mean?
I will tell you, there is one easy way to tell if this is going to be done right or not.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to brand the Fantastic Four mobile? Right? Like whatever that is. If it has a brand on it, it's going to be garbage.
What, you like the number 4 on it?
Like, no. If it's going to be branded Dodge, Chevy, Ford, Jeep, whatever, like they did in Fantastic Four 2, with Silver Surfer, right? And everything, like Dodge or somebody ended up buying the rights to that movie, and everything was branded Dodge in that movie. And it just, I'm sorry, there is just a time and place for brand. I'm a marketing guy. I love brands, but it's like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like the Fantastic Four doesn't need a branded.
That's what
mobile. Like
that's the defining factor.
Mobile having a brand on it.
Yeah, that's a defining factor for you, though.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Right. When I see movies that do like crazy branding, I feel like they spent too much time focusing on raising money through bad products.
Wasn't it Civil War that like
it takes away?
Wasn't it Civil War that like every car in there was an Audi?
Probably.
The Matrix Revolutions, or the third Matrix, whatever that one is, everything in there was General Motors. Like there were no cars other than General Motors.
I mean, if you look at there's some that will do it okay, right? Like Transformers
back.
Actually did it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I know, but I'm just saying there's a place and time for it that it does work, right? A movie based around cars, I think, actually ends up working, right? Yeah. Like a Transformers, it doesn't stick out as bad. But what was cool about Transformers is, if you notice this, all the good guys were GM, all the bad guys were Ford.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That Mustang was
the cop
tough.
was a Mustang.
Yeah,
but it was just kind of cool because I'm sure they had a deal, right, with GM that says we won't make one of your cars a bad guy, right? So it's kind of like Apple has a very interesting deal too, that typically the bad guy or the villain cannot have an iPhone.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And they said that's actually one way to. Now, my wife and I said this to her, and literally like the very next movie we watched, the bad guy had an iPhone.
Yeah.
So I don't know how strict this
is.
They
say that they can do that. They use aftermarket ones or knockoffs to get around that.
There we go.
Yeah.
We were probably watching like a Netflix movie, so it was probably a knockoff.
Yep,
so.
Exactly.
All right. Hey, one last thing I want to talk about here from this talk. Well, actually, a couple different pieces here, but one is, what are your thoughts about bringing Gambit back?
So of course I love it. Kind of. I mean, I've wanted to see Gambit in these movies for so long. I feel like they already brought him back and they almost made him a joke. So it's going to be tough to fit back into a serious role, in my opinion. So it's I don't know. It seems like an odd fit. And like Remy LeBeau is like, he's the coolest X-Men, man. And
is it a forced fit? Because it kind of feels like he wasn't a part of this until like they've seen that he did really well with audiences in Deadpool and Wolverine, and now they've just figured out a way to slide him into this.
That's exactly what I'm worried about. And it's going to be like they're forcing him in there, and he's going to be the comic relief for a group of X-Men that don't need a comic relief. You know what I mean? Like they've never been comedians in these roles. and now you're going to have somebody that's kind of almost poking fun at him, and I don't like that. So yeah, I am concerned about it, but again, I'm going to trust him because I love Gambit. I love Gambit so much. And I think that he could be the coolest character on the screen if you just give him his due justice.
I think you're right though. Like, don't turn him into Jar Jar Binks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yes,
that's because I feel like that's where he could end up trying to play is like, you try bringing in only a certain number of characters can do the Deadpool, slapstick comedy, right?
Yeah.
At times, and it's like if Gambit comes in there and tries to do that, and I think it's going to be off character.
Yeah, his vibe would not fit in with what what the X-Men have been doing, the way he did it in Wolverine and X-Men. If he would have played like the Blade vibe, or he was literally the only one that was kind of slapsticky in that thing.
Yeah,
and
which some of that was like, making fun that he hasn't had his own movie.
Correct.
Right. I mean, that's where a lot of those jokes were coming.
Self-deprecation in a lot of ways.
Yeah. But I think it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see him back. I think it'll be fun to see him get a shot at maybe a more serious movie as opposed to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it will be kind of cool to see him on the screen.
I agree. But one other thing, let's talk about a glaring omission, which is Spider-Man, and any of his characters are not mentioned in this. So far, no Spidey. We are getting a Spider-Man movie in 2026. So hopefully that'll be, I don't know. I'm not exactly upset about it.
I don't think Spider-Man's an Avenger anymore.
No, that's right.
Like I think he had his run.
Yep.
I think he joined it for a little bit, and he's back to being your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
That's literally what
and I think that's where he's going to live at.
Yep, that's literally what I put on our post about this on our Facebook page, was that I believe he's now the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man again, and that's where I want him. These guys don't remember his name anymore, so they don't know who he is. They just know Spider-Man's out there, and I'm fine with that. But I also just want as much Spider-Man as I can possibly get, so I'm always all about that.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I think that's where you're going to have like some really cool tie-ins, like with, as we were talking before the top of this, with Daredevil and Punisher and Kingpin, right? Like all that, who's right there, in New York City, right? For all of that. So that I think there's some really cool opportunities to bring Spider-Man back into this universe, right?
Yep.
To have some really cool tie-ins. I just don't think Spider-Man typically fits in the Avengers.
No, he doesn't.
Like, that's just
even in the comics, he doesn't really.
That's not as.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Wolverine's a very similar way of that, right?
Yep.
Like he can roll in and out, but he doesn't really fit in that. So I don't hate it. I think it's okay. I think that you never know, on an end credit scene or something of that nature, you may see how they're going to roll in with Peter Parker.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So
exactly. And they could do something stupid and just bring in Daredevil, the Punisher, and Spider-Man all at the end of it, and just do a little cameo, something crazy.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think there's some really cool opportunities here. I would say, the other piece I'm incredibly curious about is just how Robert Downey Jr. is going to portray, Von Doom. I think this is just going to have to be I don't want to like set any expectation, because I think if you go in there expecting anything similar to Tony Stark, I think you're going to be highly upset.
Yeah, I think you should just set your expectations really high, because he's going to crush it, and he's going to do awesome.
I hope.
And he's going to absolutely he's going to kill it. He kills everything he's in, and does a fantastic job. He's going to do it with this one too. And he may not expect Tony Stark. There'll probably be some Tony Stark isms, But overall, I think it's mainly just going to be his own version of Doom, and however he sees fit, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be incredible, but we'll see. We'll see how. Like, it's just going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So
because Doom can have a lot of that type of, like, he's got personality in the comics too. Like he could have that type of Tony Stark type of, like, him. I could see Iron Man being Doctor Doom, and I think he was even for a certain comic arc or whatever. But yeah, you could see it.
What comic book number? What ASM was? Or no, it wouldn't have been ASM. It would have been Fantastic Four. What was the number of comic book that Von Doom's first appearance?
It was, I think it was 2, or it was 2 or 4. First appearance of Victor Von Doom was in Fantastic Four 2, I think. Number 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm almost positive. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure if somebody listens to this and you're wrong, they're gonna correct.
Yes, absolutely. So. Before we run out of here, have you heard about any of the upcoming stuff too? Like after, like Spider-Man or anything like that? There's a ton of stuff coming up that I just like to throw out here real quick. So after Doomsday,
I honestly haven't.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
actually,
throw it out there.
Before Doomsday, there is a Wonder Man series that is set to be this year, December of this year.
Who's Wonder Man?
Wonder Man is and I don't know a ton about him, but he was like a West Coast Avenger, and he was I think he was an actor and then became a superhero. I don't know how, but there was some fun West Coast Avengers storylines that involved like U.S. agent, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think there was some serious drama there with those. So he might play into that role a little bit. But that's a series coming out.
Whatever happened to the new Marvels or the new Avengers?
Like the Young Avengers?
Like, wasn't or the Young Avengers? Yeah, like, weren't we thinking that was coming up like on the tail end of Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
I don't know which one it was. I don't know if it would be that one, but it was like, if you look at so they've got Wiccan now from Agatha all along. They've got Kate Bishop. They've got Cassie Lang. They've got Ms. Marvel. They've got the White Widow or Yelena Belova, and I'm sure I'm missing more. Oh, Ironheart, all those guys. So I think they are.
Okay, so which group am I thinking of? So maybe it's not the Young Avengers then. Like with who is it? Adam, right?
Oh, you're talking about like the new Guardians. Yeah.
Okay, Adam, is that who that is?
Yeah, Adam Warlock is what you're talking about.
Yeah. Because like they kind of had the group all together, and we were kind of thinking like they were going to take that to the next spot, like where they have in the comic.
Yeah, to me, honestly, I think that's going to be a post-credit scene that'll never pay off, but we may. You know,
that's what I was asking. I just didn't know like if you thought that was ever going to.
I really don't. I would really like to see it, but I just don't think that James Gunn's brother and Rocket and the random girl and Groot. I mean,
that's a TV show, if anything.
Yeah, right? It's like you just don't have enough there, in my opinion, unless they changed Adam Warlock immensely and made him be able to carry that, which he was the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, so he could essentially, but he's got to not be that character. You know, I just feel like he's so goofy and like
character. It's terrible.
Yeah. But I might have something like that on this list here because there's some of these that I forgot about. That there's a Punisher special coming out in 2026. There's a Vision series, which Vision wasn't. We were supposed to have the White Vision for forever, and he's just been off wherever. I don't know, but there's a Vision series coming out in 2026. Avengers Secret Wars in 2027, which Secret Wars is going to be like a battle world type of thing. So I think that's going to bring in every single superhero. So Spider-Man should be in there for that one.
Nice.
Armor Wars, which release date to be determined. I thought that was going to be sooner. but yeah, Armor Wars with like which was what's his name in the list? I can never remember his name. He's the new Terrence Howard. Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle wasn't listening.
War Machine.
Yeah, War Machine. There you go.
No, I did not see him. No.
And then they still say Blade, which I'm losing faith that's ever going to get made. Shang-Chi.
I think Blade's out.
What? Yeah, I think so too. Shang-Chi 2.
I think Blade's out.
And then Black Panther 3, New X-Men, Ryan Coogler's Wakanda set television series, an Okoye series, an untitled Scarlett Johansson production, Nova, and I think that's it. Yeah, so I don't see anything about a Young Avengers, which that's too bad because like I need them to put that on the list soon because I think it'll probably be a Disney series.
Yeah, so I've pictured that being like a TV series. So,
but I'd like to see it in the big screen.
Which at some point in time you're just going to have to start. We're going to have to. I mean, they're slowly doing it here, right? But like at some point in time, you're going to have to like transition to like the next generation.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
Like,
yeah, I mean, like
you're going to have to like continue to pass this torch on if you're going to keep it going.
Yep, so. And they're yeah, you're right. They're slowly doing it. I don't feel like Thor can be, Thor and look like Thor.
Thor's going to be tough to replace, right? No different than like Iron Man is going to be hard to replace, right? Ironheart can come in and play, a Iron Man-esque, but it's not Tony Stark, right? So anyway, it's going to be really interesting to see like trying to transition to some of these either younger characters or how do we get a complete character refresh of bringing characters back, right?
Yeah.
At some point in time, I would have to say in our lifetime, Chad, we're going to see another Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Like we're going to see another like
complete and total
Iron Man and Hulk and like they're not just going to like not do that again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just it though, Clint. Like, we compared these to Westerns in the past and, at one point they just stopped doing Westerns too. So you never
just stopped doing it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think when the world gets tired of these, and if they keep investing, $300 million, and they don't make their money back, then things will probably start changing, right?
Yep, these blockbusters are getting harder and harder to set or to pass because people aren't going to the theater anymore. We saw how many movies that were even Captain America had a huge opening weekend, and then it just dropped off. Mickey 17, which was fantastic. I heard that it didn't make near what it was supposed to. So,
did you go watch it?
I did. It was awesome. Loved it.
I can't wait to see
it. Oh, it's so good. So. It's so good. It's so fun. It's great. It's not going to be my top 5 of the year, I don't think, but it was really good.
What would you rate it? What would you rate it?
Right now, top of my head, 8.1.
It's not going to make your top 10? Is that what you just said?
No, I just think that it's going to. Well, I mean, maybe top 10. I said top 5. I don't know. I don't think it'll make top 5. I wanted to walk out of there just knowing that it was the best movie of the year. That's what I wanted.
It probably won't make your top 10 because Deadpool and Wolverine didn't even make like your top 100. So,
yeah. I gave that one like a 7.9 though, Clint.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Like there were 800 different movies that came out in 24 that were better than that, apparently.
I hate you. I'm going to watch Deadpool and Wolverine right now, though. So
you should, you should, and then be ashamed of yourself for what you continue to do to that movie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chad, this has been fun to have a conversation around this big announcement. And so with that, the credits are rolling.
Lights coming on.
And that's the end of the show.